the invention factory of Thomas Edison. My name is Chuck. I am here with the Village, and I just give you just a brief overview of what you'll be seeing as you go through the laboratory. This is the home of light and sound technology. This is the building that Henry Ford brought here from Menlo Park, New Jersey, where Thomas Edison perfected the light bulb and invented the electrical lighting system. This is also where you'll find that he invented the beginning of recorded sound and music.
And some of the smart displays and the connectivity features in that vehicle. So again, I'm Ruth Van. I'm the HMI supervisor for the center stack displays at Ford Motor Company. I have been at Ford for almost 19 years, working in various product development engineering roles, but my favorite has always been working on the sync technology, starting with Gen 2 and now with Gen 3. As the HMI supervisor, my team is responsible for making sure that all the new cool and innovative technologies that we're bringing into the vehicle, that they're easy for the drivers to use, easy to understand. So we're going to first start just talking about some of the smart displays that you're going to see available in the 2020 escape. So first available will be the 12.3-inch all-digital cluster. So this started off, you guys have probably seen images of this initially with the GT, and then earlier this year when we reviewed this or similar cluster on the Mustang and the Explorer. But again, new to the Escape will be the 12.3-inch all-digital cluster. Completely customizable to whatever the driver wants to show. If it's something as simple as just speedo or TAC information or trip 1 or 2, that is available. But if they even want some of the driver assistance information, that's also customizable and available to be shown in the cluster as well.
Is that standard or just optional?
This is an optional cluster. So it's available, it's not the standard cluster. Yep. I'm not sure if you guys have already been review the drive modes feature. Okay, you guys have. So when a person, the driver, does select the drive modes, the cluster does have animations that go along with the different drive modes that are selected. So if it's normal or eco or sport, there's a cluster animation that's shown based on how the driver is selected. Next, we'll talk about the heads-up display, and this is going to be first in the segment for the Escape. So this heads-up display.
Mazda CX-5's got a heads-up display.
Okay. So heads-up display, it's 6-inch. This is a 6-inch screen. Again, the whole purpose of the heads-up display is to have the driver with their hands on the steering wheel, looking straight ahead, not having to look to the right, not having to look down, but completely customizable to show information such as vehicle speed, opening phone calls, turn-by-turn directions for navigation, even some of the...
You all to the original Wright Cycle Shop from Dayton, Ohio, where two brothers, Wilbur and Orville Wright, had sold, repaired, and manufactured bicycles to help finance their aircraft research and development that actually occurred in this very building in the back. So let's talk about something glamorous. Let's talk about weight. When a customer goes into the showroom, they're not necessarily thinking about the weight of the vehicle. But we know that weight translates into a lot of things that the customers really care about. A lighter weight vehicle gives you better fuel economy. It maybe gives you a better fun-to-drive experience. So in developing and setting our targets for the all-new Escape, we made some very aggressive weight reduction targets, but we also wanted to make the vehicle longer, wider, pack it full of great content. I'm proud to say we were able to do that. As you see here, every Ford Escape variant is in excess of 200 pounds lighter than the model that replaces. So how do you do that? You make some really smart design decisions. You take a look at every system, you optimize it, you look at every component, and then you make some real creative use of smart or high-tech materials. So let's talk about some of our design decisions. We carry over an aluminum hood. It's not a carryover hood, but we use an aluminum hood as we did on the outgoing model, but we add other aluminum bits. A number of the chassis bits, control arms, etc. are aluminum.
aluminum composite bumper beams, mini spare. Then we bring in other materials like neodymium speakers. And then we provide sound deadeners and carpet with the same performance, but a lighter weight than what they replaced in the prior model. But I think the interesting story is with the body construction. And as you have time later, you'll see I've got a body side out there colored with some of the steel we've used. And as you'll see, we've colored this graphic to show you where we're using high strength, lightweight materials. And you can see it's pretty extensively covered. Now, one of the interesting materials we use in the roof bows is something called smart steel. So smart steel is essentially a sandwich of two thin wafers of mild steel with a steel fiber reinforced polymer. So that allows us to give the same performance but a lighter weight. We also use, you're probably familiar with Taylor welded blanks, the lower rear back where we put more metal where it's needed in the joints, and you have less metal where you don't necessarily need that reinforcement. However, if you take a look, there's a lot more to the story. The orange is boron or boron steel. We've created this skeleton around the driver and the passenger using lightweight, high-strength boron. We've increased or improved the torsional rigidity of the vehicle by over 10%. And we've done a lot of, like I said, unique things, such as welding the bead pillar and patch ahead of time before the heat treatment and the forming. That means we don't have to put as many countermeasures in the part that we would if we stamped them separately and then welded them after. And then probably one of the most interesting ones is our use of martensite or martensitic steel. In fact, I'll pass this around. Now this is a section of A-pillar from the vehicle. So martensite is the strongest steel we have in the vehicle. At over 1,700 megapascals tensile strength, this is stronger than you'd find in some military tanks, railroad ties, construction cranes. And because of that strength, what we've done using an advanced manufacturing technology is done a roll form or roll sweep construction of the A-pillar tube that allows us to provide a very slim A-pillar, providing better visibility, yet high strength, such that we can deliver roof strength that meets the IIHS recommended roof strength of 4 times the vehicle weight. We've also put it down in the rockers to protect the hybrid batteries. So by employing some high strength, lightweight materials and making some smart design decisions, we've been able to, as I said, take about 200 pounds of weight out of the vehicle while still keeping it at a great price point for our customers. So with that, I'm going to wrap up. I've exceeded my time, but I hope everyone had a great time so far, and I think we're going to pass you over to Deb for the...
Welcome again to Escapeville. I'm going to take you on a little design walk around of Escape. And now, as you've heard about Kyle and Kumar, really wanted to reposition Escape going forward. And if you kind of look at a continuum of very, very rugged and capable to very car-like and emotive, we really wanted to put the emotive quality into Escape. Because as you heard, we have a new vehicle coming in a more rugged space. So that's for a further discussion later on. Beginning with the profile of the vehicle, you see a much more tapered roofline, a faster backlight angle. This really helps get to that emotive quality, as I mentioned. The car sits between 10 to 20 millimeters lower compared to the outgoing Escape. And then when you look at the DLO, this one is accented by a full chrome DLO surround. But we paid attention to the glass to sheet metal proportion to really get a good balance there, as well as dropping the belt line to give more outward visibility for passengers. If you look at the sculpting of the body side, you see a lot of depth and topography to really accentuate the curves and the emotional quality. That gives us, it helps to really set up the stance of the vehicle and give it a pouncing quality to this vehicle in its segment. This is just showing 19-inch wheels. We've got a series of 17 and 18s as well as the 19s available. And customers in this segment have really gotten accustomed, grown to these two-tone finishes. So here you see a machine finish wheel with the dark spokes, painted spokes. We've got a couple more behind the vehicle in the corner there you can take a look at. Our cladding treatment actually contrasts the sculpted body. It's much more technical quality. You get up close, you can see some technical detailing in some of the elements both here and on the step plate in the rear. So what I'd like to do is kind of walk you around to the front. We'll talk a bit more about the front design. And as you come around, I would like to point out the hood and front profile, something that we call a shark-like profile. So it has a water line that goes in between the headlamps and the grille or the mouth, sits below that water line to create the shark-like profile. It gets the graphics down lower on the vehicle. The headlamps or the eyes sit above, and they sweep back around the corners, sculpted corners. And that's accented by the fog lamps and the lower aperture. Across the hood surface, we keep a traditional power dome in the hood, and that really helps to accentuate the strength of the powertrain that customers have told us they really appreciate. So from here, we'll transition around the back. I'll meet you around the back side of the vehicle. We're not going to talk too much about the interior today. We'll have time in subsequent reviews to talk a few more about that, but you're welcome after the presentation to get inside and you'll see some more demonstrations. And when you look at, so when you come around to the rear, look at the rear. Position with the feet right. We got the tail lamps that really stretch out and wrap around the corners to give a lot of visual width. Also noting the reflex details here and the bumper, how it really stretches your eye out to give it a strong, wide stance on the road. Skid plate and the bumper area graphically lift the car to give you a much more capable quality in its appearance. Finally, if you look at the blue oval here and the spelled out individual letters of Escape, it really helps to, I think, give a much more premium quality to the vehicle. It's presented in a very high, prominent position, being very proud of the brand Escape. So that's kind of the overall gist of the design. Again, it's a really nice stance. We got 10 to 20 mils lower in the roof height. The body has been pulled out 17 millimeters overall in width, and you'll hear some of the reasons why in a moment. The wheelbase is 20 millimeters longer. So the stance and the architecture of the vehicle has enabled a much more dynamic, emotive canvas for us to present this design to you today.
Like Jim said, my name is Jennifer Comfort, and I was the vehicle architecture lead for the all-new Escape. Within vehicle architecture, my team and I are responsible for 4 key areas of the vehicle: occupant space, cargo space, visibility, and ingress-egress. Also, as Jim mentioned, we have had a laser focus on the customer throughout the development of the program, and we have looked for certain pain points from existing customers and then worked to address those pain points to deliver a better than ever all-new Escape. As you can imagine, second row roominess is very important to Ford Escape customers, and that is why we developed a second row sliding seat. This second row sliding seat now enables us to claim best-in-class second row legroom with a 3.5-inch improvement versus the outgoing model. This is more second row legroom than a full-sized Chevrolet Suburban. We'll have some Jim and Joel want to come up.
So just for reference, I'm 6'2", but more leg than torso. So this is very accommodating for me, as you will see.
Yep, so as we've mentioned, the sliding seat has 6 inches of fore-aft adjustability. And how we did that is we actually moved the fuel tank rearward on the new Escape which moves the heel kick rearward. That gives more spaciousness in the footwell to people, as well as improving their ingress and egress of getting in and out of the vehicle as well. Yep. All right, great. So because of understanding the pain points from existing customers, that was the key driver in developing this innovative second row sliding seat. Joel had mentioned that the actual overall height of the vehicle had gone down versus the outgoing model, but don't be worried because we actually have more interior spaciousness than the outgoing model. You have more headroom, shoulder room, and hip room in the first row and the second row, and you have additional second row knee clearance versus the outgoing model as well. In the first row, for the moonroof variant, you have an additional around a ½ inch of space. In shoulder room, you have 1.7 inches of additional space, and hip room, it's about 3/4 of an inch. In the second row, you're at 1.4 inches of increased headroom for the moonroof variant, 3/4 of an inch for the shoulder room, and 1.4 inches for the hip room. So these are all substantial increases versus the outgoing model. Additionally, we have over 2 inches of additional second row knee clearance, and this is because the couple distance, the space between the first and the second row occupants, has increased by 2.3 inches. So these are phenomenal numbers in terms of going from an outgoing model to a new model. I've been at Ford in vehicle architecture for over 20 years, and this is the first time I've been able to report such huge improvements from one model to the next. So I'm very excited and very proud of the team for these accomplishments. In the front, we now offer an electronic rotary gear shifter, and that kind of opens up the cabin space. You have a decluttered console, you can have larger cup holder size, and you actually have a huge glove box that can fit a 10-inch tablet. Yeah. Just a
When you
second.
do the seats all the way back, do you still get the 4 golf bags?
Yeah.
You do? My sister once asked me.
All right, we'll move on now to the back. I want to just focus a little bit more on the balance that the second row sliding seat offers us. Now customers can choose, do they want to maximize their second row roominess or their cargo space? This is a no compromise solution and was a key driver for the program. I know I personally have 2 kids. I have a daughter that's about ready to go to college soon. You can push those second row seats all the way forward and fill out the back.